is Joy News Prime.
This is Joy News Prime, a very special Independence Day edition on the 58th anniversary of Ghana's liberation from colonial rule. In this edition, President Mahama directs National Commission for Civic Education to liaise with Peace Council for amicable resolution of religious intolerance standoff in its address to mark Ghana's 58th independence anniversary. We'll bring you his comments and all the highlights of the parade, including the contingent who could not stand their ground all through to the end, and what the political bigwigs had to say about what the president said. Commissioner of Police Patrick Timbela on interdiction for his role in police recruitment scam, the highest-ranking officer to be indicted in the scandal after 2 cops were arrested on Thursday. Minority spokesperson on foreign affairs demands immediate action against heads of Ghana's diplomatic missions alleged to have embezzled funds. And 4 Upper East and Upper West districts join forces to halt decline in socio-economic activities in the area due to the lack of a bridge to connect their communities over the Sicily River. In business, would highlight the situation of businesses who are having to cope without electricity. The sports and international news all coming up in the 60-minute bulletin, also available on Europe on ABN television. But on this Independence Day, the biggest challenge facing this country is the energy crisis. And so, in solidarity with the many homes in Ghana who cannot watch this broadcast precisely because they do not have electricity, this bulletin will be anchored with very little lighting. On that note, lights off. We'll be back with the... All right, and so for your information, the hashtag is Dumsor News. Ghanaians mark the 58th Independence Day anniversary today with parades across the country. Now, the highlight of the commemorations was a parade at the Black Star Square in Accra, which was overhauled with new additions to wow the crowd. President John Mahama presided over the ceremony, which also saw former heads of state Flight Lieutenant Jerry John Rawlings and John Ejekumkufor in attendance. Akrofi Smart Abe was there for Joy News.
As early as 6:30 a.m., hundreds of Ghanaians from all walks of life had started filling the stands at the Black Star Square. As time went on, the crowd grew thicker. Some had come from far-off places, while others had skipped work just to witness the parade.
Okay, me myself, I've come to work, but as I've come to work today, it's not going well, so I decided just to pass through.
Where do you work?
I'm a taxi driver.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you've parked your taxi?
Yeah.
Where?
Somewhere back there.
The parade contingent, made up of 1,200 basic and second cycle school children and the ceremonial guard of honor, marched onto the parade grounds at 8:25 a.m. President Mahama inspected the parade some 20 minutes later when he arrived, paving way for the first part of the day's ceremony to begin.
On parade, approaching the days, we have Mr. D.A. Annan, Director, British Accra.
The parade itself was colorful as it was historic.
The Ghana Armed Forces Counter-Terrorism Team. We now have marching towards their days. An all-female.
The new additions to the program, particularly the air assault drill by a combined team of Army and Air Force personnel, and a display by an all-female motor riders unit of the police MTTD drew loud cheers from the public. Without a doubt, Friday's parade was meant to showcase the level of sophistication of the nation's security services. And if the crowd's reaction is anything to go by, they had a great deal of fun. Akrofi Smart Abe, Joy News, Black Star Square.
President John Mahama has directed the National Commission for Civic Education to liaise with the National Peace Council to initiate a dialogue to foster an amicable understanding to calm the current religious and ethnic tensions in the country. In his address to mark the 58th independence celebration, the president said no amount of political power must plunge this country into ethnic and religious contention. He gave the assurance that government will use all available channels to resolve the current impasse.
And that is why I've recently been worried about a few events that have affected the atmosphere of ethnic and religious peace that we have enjoyed. I'm sure that our society has the absorbers to withstand these shocks, and that is why my heart was gladdened when I noticed the unanimity exhibited in the recent demonstration held in support of equal citizenship. I also note that on the issue of religious relations that I sought to clarify as president during my State of the Nation address, a citizen of our nation has headed to the Supreme Court to seek an interpretation of the relevant clauses of our Constitution. We will all await the highest court of the land to discharge its mandate. But I wish to indicate that government is not averse to the use of interfaith channels and dialogue to resolve any disagreements among our different faith groups. I have therefore only yesterday asked the National Commission for Civic Education to join the National Peace Council in initiating a dialogue to foster an amicable understanding on how to operationalize Article 21(1) of our Constitution. Ladies and gentlemen, this is without prejudice to any conclusion the Supreme Court of our land would arrive at in respect of the suit brought before it.
The 58th Independence Day Parade saw the convergence of the country's political bigwigs at the Black Star Square in Accra. Former President Kufuor and Jerry Rawlings, as well as flag-bearer aspirants of the various political parties, all turned up to commemorate the event. Some of these figures shared their thoughts on the president's speech with Joy News. First is flag-bearer of the new Patriotic Party, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo.
He said things that are fairly normal, the need for us to work together to develop our country. But what matters, I think, is not so much the words, but the actions and the policies that will follow the words. I think that is what will tell us whether they were just mere words or that they were words that were backed by a concrete program for development. We've come some way. We could have gone further. But the whole idea is that we work together, spirit of development, especially doing the right things. I think that's what will really take us further. The words are all very nice, but if they're not backed by the necessary actions and policies, they become just words. And we've reached a stage in our history when it is the actions and the policies that matter.
I think it is very important that the President mentioned in his State of the Nation address the need to sacrifice everything in the interest of nation building. And I think that if each one of us works towards that goal from wherever we stand in the true spirit of nation building, it doesn't mean that we are going to leave him in power. It doesn't mean that we will not contest ideas. It doesn't mean that we will not have our own positions. What it means is that we must not destroy the fabric of the national spirit in the interest of surmounting and gaining supremacy of political power.
Well, it's calm, it's been orderly, the turnout has been good, and the President, I believe, has also spoken well.
Many are those who believe that Ghana has not reached the point where we hope to reach due to failed leadership. That's what many have said. Do you agree with this? And to what extent?
They say a country gets the government it deserves. And if you are talking of failed leadership, then perhaps the society generally has failed. Do you understand me? You don't put it just at the door of just one person. It's the society as a whole.
Still on Independence, it's become almost a common sight at Independence Day parades to see members of the marching contingent collapsing. Today in Accra, 34 marchers were unable to stay to the finish. Most of them were school children, but there were a few experienced security personnel who also dropped out. Joy News reporter Latif Idris was at the Black Star Square and has come through with his report.
One feature that characterizes the National Independence Day celebration is the march past. Now, this comes with lots of practice by students and pupils of various institutions as well as security services. Now, how would you feel when you are unable to march on the D-Day as a result of dizziness on the parade grounds? This, unfortunately, was one feature at the 58th Independence Day celebration at the Black Star Square. School children and security officers had to be carried off the parade grounds after passing out, mostly as a result of fatigue. Have you been practicing for this sit march? How long did you practice?
We started it from 17th February.
So what happened? What happened on the parade ground? What happened to you?
When we are coming, I drank holy cocoa. I didn't eat, that's why, so my stomach was worrying me.
So how do you feel?
I feel bad. I feel so bad.
How long have you been practicing?
I think about 6 or 5 days.
6 or 5 days. And you were prepared for this day, right?
Yes.
Did you even sleep last night?
Yes, I slept.
But you were dreaming about today?
Yes.
So what happened?
When I came, I was feeling a little bit dizzy, so I just sat down when they came to take me.
The head of the medical team, D.O. Charles Ado of the Ghana National Fire Service, blamed the high number of casualties on hunger and the long hours of standing at the parade grounds.
It's normal. We cannot. It's normal because some of the children will not eat before coming. And not every children can stand on the scorching sun. So by all means, we have some people feeling dizzy. So that is normal. Normally, it's normal.
Charles Ado believes the only way to avoid such incidents is to check the health status of the participants before putting them on the parade ground. For Joy News, Latif Idris, Black Star Square.
Now, earlier today, the Ghana Police Service announced the indictment and house arrest of one of its top officers implicated in a recent recruitment scam. The story has developed so fast in the last few hours, and as of this moment, we can tell you that the Commissioner of Police is on interdiction. Earlier today, the Ghana Police Service announced that he was under house arrest. In an exclusive interview with Joy News, the Director General of Police Public Relations, COP David Ampabening, said the task force set up to investigate the scam was convinced of the involvement of Commissioner Patrick Tembela.
The Commissioner of Police, Mr. Patrick Edin Tembela, who is also the Director General in charge of Human Resource Development, the Ghana Police Service, upon the recommendation of the Special Task Force set up by the Police Administration, has been interdicted and also been placed under house arrest. It will be recalled that a special task force was put in place by the Police Administration, and it presented its interim report, which in its fears implicated the Commissioner. Interdiction was recommended by the Special Task Force investigating the recent recruitment scam, which has generated a lot of discussion on various media platforms earlier this week. We have taken this action to enable the task force, the investigating team, to have full access to the Commissioner and then for investigations to continue.
DCOP Patrick Tembela is a Director General of Police Human Resource Development, correct?
Yes, please.
Okay, and what this decision taking means what exactly for him? He's been placed on a house arrest.
It's on interdiction.
Okay.
When you are on interdiction, you are not supposed to come to office. It's so that you can cooperate fully with the investigating team. And as and when we have enough evidence, we will update the press of the ongoing exercise.
And the house arrest also specifically means what exactly?
It's not supposed to appear in public. He must stay in his house. It's not to be seen outside, and that is it. Because he's a very senior officer, and we are conducting this investigation painstakingly.
Okay. And this week, when the press conference was held by your good self, it was said that some of the recruitment forms that the people who were hoping to get into service showed had a signature on it. Some said that signature was forged. Was that signature that of DCOP Patrick Timbela, allegedly?
His name was there. There was a signature under. The task force is investigating. Maybe it may need some forensic auditing, checking, but he's denying that is not his signature. And there's also the committee investigating team. So it's, I mean, true, one against each other. But I believe that the investigation, they know what to do. They will subject it to some forensic auditing and find out whether it is his actual signature. But for the time being, the investigating team, they have come up with some recommendations, and they are convinced that his presence may interfere in the investigations.
Right, so that was DCOP David Ampabini. He's the Director General of the Ghana Police Service, Police Public Relations, and he broke the news, or that was when we were breaking the news on Joy News earlier in the day. Now, this police recruitment scam, which came to light last week and has shocked many Ghanaians, and further dented the image of a police service struggling to shake itself out of widespread perception of corruption. Interestingly, COP Timbela, who has been interdicted today, was the first to give an official response on the matter. Let's recall his comments earlier in the week.
Asha is a police. Why is it that you pay money to her in order to get recruited? At the end of the day, look at the number. And this time round, we are going to arrest them for possession of forged documents. And the onus will lie on them to prove where the source of that document. So it's getting enlistment like selling granules or kuli on the road. You just pay money, then they will write your name and give you. Is that what happens? So to get people into police is quite meticulous. Who says cumbersome? They should exercise patience for it.
Security analyst Dr. Kwesi Ening has been speaking about this latest development.
Saddened because of the individual involved, and I'm saddened for the service as a whole, because it's a service that I love. It's a service that plays a very critical role in providing security for this country. So it's most unfortunate. It's very sad. And I think once more, were this to be true, if the investigations were to conclude that what we are hearing is correct, then I think this will almost sound the death knell of the Ghana Police Service. So this is a very difficult time for the Ghana Police Service. But I will appeal for a certain level of restraint by people who comment on this case. Because whether we like it or not, we've all got to engage with the service and to ask ourselves some extremely tough questions. How do we help the service to regain the credibility that it deserves? This case, because of the levels of coordination and sophistication and the inability of the police intelligence services and national security to get wind of it until the people appeared at the training schools with their bags, has much wider security implications. First, what types of criminal activities and engagements that may threaten the sanctity of this state are going on that we don't know about? What are the levels of potential complicity from those who are supposed to protect us in some of these possible ongoings? So this is not just about the police service. It's even, in a certain extent, the responsibility of us as citizens also to say where and why don't we complain? Where do we complain to? When do we complain to? How do we do it? You see, because whatever has happened, people knew their neighbors, their friends, their family members were paying bribes to enter the service. But nobody reported it.
So I want to ask you, if it is true that COP Patrick Timbela is indeed involved, should investigations terminate there, or you believe there is more to this monumental scandal than meets the eye?
It's not just about the monumentalness of the scandal. It is about the reputation of the service and public perceptions about the service. In these cases, perceptions sometimes do matter more than the reality. So we need to take a couple of steps back and say, how have we gotten to where we are, and how do we respond to the institutional and organizational challenges added to the changing dynamics of criminality that the service will have to respond to, and how do we regain public trust? I think the terms of reference, were we to go that route of establishing a bipartisan commission, should be comprehensive, and that will bring, hopefully, the public respect and the public love for the service back.
So just to recap, the latest information we have is that Commissioner of Police Patrick Timbela is no more under house arrest, although his interdiction still stands. We'll be updating you on developments as they unfold. Now, this is Joy News Prime, the special Independence Day edition, which has become the Dumsor News. If you're just joining us, the unusual lighting we have in the studio is in solidarity with the many homes in Ghana who cannot watch this broadcast precisely because they do not have electricity and are in darkness. Do stay tuned. We'll be back with more after the break. Right, as you can observe, there's everything unusual about our lighting today, but we're going to go ahead with the bulletin in solidarity with the many homes in Ghana who cannot watch this broadcast precisely because they do not have electricity and are in darkness, like we have it here in the studio. In fact, their setting will be similar to what we have here in the studio. So those of you watching this broadcast, you can count yourselves fortunate to have power. And talking about the energy crisis Ghana finds itself in right now, the Ghana Grid Company, as of this morning, said a considerable number of Ghanaians would have watched the anniversary parade because there was very minimal power rationing. The shortfall in electricity supply was estimated to be around 150 megawatts. The company has, however, said the supply situation would revert to the status quo after midday. And so, at the moment, there is a demand of electricity of about 350 megawatts. That won't be met. And then stay on the energy crisis. Former diplomat KV Asante is blaming himself for the country's current power crisis. Mr. Asante, who was secretary to the country's founding president, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, laments his inability to influence decisions on energy. He regrets seeing the slow death of Nkrumah's vision of an energy-efficient Ghana.
I get annoyed because it need not happen. Because people could have seen that this was happening. And if it's a question of money, we should have arranged our finances so that we could pay for the gas or whatever we needed. There is no excuse for that. And some of my friends are involved. As I said, I have to accept part of responsibility because I was involved in government at one time. It is bad, and we should recognize it and say that this Nkwasi should stop.
It is known to many in the world as the day Ghana was liberated from colonial rule. Across the length and breadth of the country, Ghanaians, including school pupils, participated in parade to commemorate the day. The significance of the day, however, appeared lost on some pupils Joy News spoke to in Sewam, who took part in activities marking Independence Day.
What does today mean to you as a Ghanaian?
We have marched.
You
have marched.
You have marched.
Yes.
And then what's next?
That means we are Ghanaians.
When you march means you are Ghanaians.
Yes.
So you think Independence Day is all about marching?
Today is Independence Day.
What does it mean? What does independence mean?
I forgot.
You forgot it? But you didn't go and march?
Yes.
Why?
I don't know. My sister said I should march.
No, you just said you should go and march. That's why you went to march. And what day is today?
Today is 6th of March, Independence Day.
What does independence mean?
It means that the day that the day Ghana became a republic.
Now, Member of Parliament for Nsawam Adrojiri, Ano Dompre, says the ignorance of these pupils is an indication education in that area is in crisis.
the results is not too good. There are a number of schools that the results is so bad. And then and build in the youth a reading habit. That is the focus for this year. We'll talk to our guys at the university. When they come at their leisure time, they'll go and support to complement what the teachers are doing in the villages. It's not too good. It's not good, but there have been some improvement, but there is a lot more room that we can improve upon.
The minority spokesman on foreign affairs is demanding immediate action against heads of diplomatic missions abroad who are alleged to have embezzled large sums of money. The allegations are contained in the latest Auditor General's report, which highlights malfeasance at missions in places like Berlin and Tehran. The minority spokesman on foreign affairs, Chiabuame, says the foreign ministry must urgently act on the report.
The buck stops on the necks of the foreign minister to take the necessary steps as directed by the Auditor General in the report to ensure that monies due to the state are recovered fully. And I want to believe that the foreign minister has read the report and is taking the necessary steps. It's an issue of leadership. You see, you read about 13,000. When the person is not prosecuted, the person is emboldened to go ahead and steal hundreds of thousands. Then who suffers? So I want the ministry or the Minister for Foreign Affairs to look at the report critically and do the needful as Ghanaians are watching.
The Auditor General has meanwhile also recommended that legal action be taken against some of the mission heads. Minority Leader in Parliament, Osei Asare, is asking for greater independence for the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation. He was delivering the first in a series of lectures to mark the 80th anniversary of the public broadcaster. Mr. Mensah said political interference by successive governments has stunted the growth of GBC.
In many countries, publicly funded broadcasters are still achieving respectable audience share, and I believe the same holds true in Ghana. In most countries in Eastern Europe and Africa, including our dear Ghana, state broadcasters are funded through a mix of advertising and public finance, either through a license fee or directly from the government. In most parts of the Western world, public service broadcasting is funded by a receiving fee by every household, with no commercial advertising and the maintenance of a position of strict political impartiality. And talking about political neutrality, is it not truthful that sometimes political interference intrudes into the structure and therefore the direction of GBC and thereby cut off a section of your catchment zone?
He called for an increase in the license fee, which is meant to help fund the operations of GBC. 4 districts in the Upper East and Upper West regions are joining forces to try and halt the decline in socio-economic activities in their communities. The economic decline has been attributed to the lack of a bridge over the Sicily River to connect their communities. Residents in the 80 communities affected say they are often unable to cart their farm produce to the market and end up selling them at giveaway prices. Upper East correspondent Albert Sori has more.
The Sicily River separates about 80 communities in the Buisa North and South districts of the Upper East region on one hand and the Sisala East and Wa East districts of the Upper West region on the other. Residents in these communities are mainly farmers. Every year, these farmers lose some of their produce after harvest because at that time of the year, the Sicily River is often full and so they are unable to cross it to market centers. The farmers end up selling most of their produce at giveaway prices to prevent them from going waste.
It's very difficult for us to transport our products to Kunkuno, and it's very difficult for them to also transport their product to us too. So it's affecting us when it is raining season.
If we want to go and buy corn or milk, we cannot get the place to across, or if we want to send milk there to go and grind flour, it's a problem for us to do it.
In order to change the situation, stakeholders from the 4 districts whose communities are affected have met in the Buisa South district of the Upper East region to mobilize resources for the construction of a drift bridge on the Doninga-Santijan stretch of the Sicily River. The drift bridge, when completed, will enhance inter-district trade and revenue generation within the 4 districts.
The temporary bridge will certainly provide a link to the trunk road and also serve as an alternative route to the Bolga to Muwa trunk routes. This is especially so when the latter breaks down.
I wish to say that let us be united in our efforts to get this bridge built. And I believe that our assemblies, giving the entrances support and leadership, we shall get it through.
As part of the Independence Day commemorations, our sister station Joy 99.7 FM organized a bazaar in Accra today to celebrate culture and values. The event, dubbed Ghana Fest, saw exhibitors showcasing made in Ghana products.
As if by design, patrons here at the Ghana Fest Bazaar at the Aviation Social Center all wore something Ghanaian with a great deal of pride. Ace broadcaster and host of Cosmopolitan Mix on Joy FM, Doreen Ando, was spotted in an all-traditional outfit. She tells us the rationale behind her looks.
My real name is Mamiesi Yaboreba. I sell kenke. The kenke is ready. If you came to buy, please, the price of the fish, the list is written on the back. Look, buy, we are fine. It's a good feeling, one, to be Ghanaian. Yes, not too many things are going on as we expect, but truth be told, it's the feeling of you knowing that you belong somewhere. You have a heritage. That's what I am proud about.
The program's director of Joy FM, Kofi Ansa, says Ghana Fest, which focuses on celebrating the Ghanaian identity, will be an annual event.
Delicacies that you haven't enjoyed over a long period of time, Acheke, Kita Schoolboys, Asana, they're all here. I mean, Ghanaians have become very creative and innovative. Beautiful designs, made from wax prints, kente, beads.
Or is this just a one-off something?
Certainly, it's going to be. We're repeating it next year.
Okay.
And it will be a yearly affair.
We also engaged some patrons and exhibitors who commended the organizers.
We're always looking forward for the opportunity to sell Ghana to Ghanaians and then to everyone else. Today, it's going really well, and we are really grateful to Joy FM for putting this together.
I think that apart from the fact that we celebrated we gained independence on the 6th of March, we can declare 6th March as a national day where we can have programs like this, which should be nationalized for a lot of people to show what Ghana has, and I think it's a step in the right direction.
Indeed, I'm proudly Ghanaian too. You're watching Joy News Prime, the special Independence Day / Dumsor News edition, in solidarity with the many homes in Ghana who cannot watch this broadcast precisely because they do not have electricity. Stay tuned. We'll be back with business.
In 1957, a great visionary changed our destiny. One voyage changed our future forever. Her bravery changed the course of history. This trailblazer brought change to girls everywhere. Our treasured diplomat changed the world. Many Ghanaians have brought change to themselves and others. If individual Ghanaians could bring change to our lives and our history, imagine what over 25 million of us can achieve with our positive actions. How are you making your change today? Make your change with Airtel.
You're still watching Joy News Prime, and this is where we bring you all the updates in business. If you're just tuning in, I would like to say that this is the special Independence Day and Dumsor edition of the news in solidarity with the many homes in Ghana who cannot watch this broadcast precisely because they do not have electricity. Now to our very first story. General Secretary of the Trades Union Congress, Kofi Asamoah, has bemoaned the lack of economic independence 58 years after the departure of British colonialists. He says the numerous economic challenges confronting the country indicate there is a lot to be done.
If we looked at from the beginning of our independence up to today,
the levels of deterioration. We can agree that in some levels we have gained something, but there's much to be done. Our leaders over the years have never had the foresight to ensure that our country is put on a level of development that can go at pace over our years of independence. We have 58 years. We still think that we have a lot more to do. We have deficits in employment, deficits in social protection, deficits in the lifestyle of the people, even in the area of energy, for instance. So as we celebrate Ghana's independence, I think it should draw our attention to the deficits we've had over the years, the fact that we have not all done much, both politically, and everybody should come to the realization is that, to the effect that there is much to be done. And it should guide us into the future to ensure that we provide appropriate solutions to the numerous problems with us. Our leaders should be visionary enough to be able to provide the kind of leadership that can take us into the future.
Well, President John Mahama has urged Ghanaians to remain resolute in spite of the current economic hardship the country is faced with. Speaking at the 58th Independence Parade, President Mahama acknowledged that though more challenges remain unresolved, there is no reason for Ghanaians to be saddened by the situation. He says Ghana's challenges should rather offer Ghanaians a pivot around which we will galvanize ourselves into action.
We've been offered a test to prove ourselves worthy of inheriting this great nation. It is a test that we dare not fail. Failing will amount to a grave injustice to the memory of all those whose sweat, blood, and toil helped construct the great nation that has been handed down to us. Even as we acknowledge that more challenges remain to be resolved, there are no reasons for us to slide into purposeless lamentation and self-pity. Rather, they must offer a pivot around which we galvanize ourselves into action. The time has come for us to make a collective push to quicken the pace of our march towards socio-economic transformation. To do this, we need to shed the garb of the division. We must don the gear of unity. We must respect and love. We must achieve respect and love for one another. We must pick up the tools of hard work, and we must plow the fields of challenge in order to sow and nurture the seeds that will enable us collectively reap the fruits of sustainable development.
Now to something on Dumsor. Small businesses around the country are still reeling from the devastating effects of the ongoing power crisis. To survive, many are going back to basics, using tools and methods that do not require electricity. Jojo Kobna spoke to traders on how they are adapting to doing business in the dark.
Nancy Lati is a mother of two. She's a self-employed seamstress and proud owner of 2 electric sewing machines. However, today, the machines serve a better purpose as decorations than tools. The ongoing power crisis has forced her to go back to basics. Winding the handle is hectic and slow, so her output is low.
Because many people have brought their cloth to sew for them. Here is it. Here is it. And others are the showcase. It's all from people brought it. But because of Dumsor, even I'm using the hand one, so I can't go fast. If I'm using the electric machine, I can sew maybe 2 or 3 cloths a day. But because of the hand one, even one I can't finish.
So why are you not thinking of getting maybe a generator set?
Generator, I can't afford it too. I can't afford the petrol. Yeah.
This barber has also abandoned electric shavers. He relies on a dependable pair of scissors and razor blades. However, these tactics do not insulate him from economic hardships caused by erratic power supply.
And there are still others whose desperate tactics to survive have fallen far short of their expectations.
Light of dini hubeji mono die enya kra amejuma ye basa obi bana light of or me generator or hosi o de chain light ne ba e bia 4 days 3 days na light ne kra nye den emai nso ne yetete ho obi bana generator obeka se me ko opel light because generator no obetue bia ka huninti opel light.
The creativity of small business holders will continue to be put to the test, since analysts predict the energy crisis will continue till the middle of the year, at least the very least.
Indeed, Dumsor is really a major challenge, and that's why we here at Joy News is doing this in solidarity with many Ghanaians who are coping with the Dumsor. Now, 2 of the biggest rural banks in the country are on the verge of collapse. The Kakum Rural in the Central Region and Shai Rural Bank in the Greater Accra Region are both struggling to meet withdrawal demands of their customers. Head of Banking and Supervision in charge of rural banks at the Bank of Ghana, Raymond Amalfo, tells Joy Business the central bank is putting measures in place to address the situation.
You see, existing rural banks are supposed to meet 150,000 and not 300. Of course, as an apex body, they will encourage everybody to even move up to 300 and beyond. What we are seeing is about close to about 20 of them that are showing signs of difficulty. And we have had an arrangement. Some of them are showing signs of recovery. Yes, Kakum is in some liquidity stress, simply because of, we think that there are about 3 or 4 factors that have led to this. It's poor management and board oversight, because there are some of the things that there were matters of governance that they should have known. Secondly, there were issues of bad credits. I mean, people take loans, they don't pay. And then, of course, excessive expenditure on fixed assets. Right. Now, what we have done is that we have asked for the interdiction of, currently 3 of the top management are on interdiction, because we found them to be largely responsible for quite a lot of the issues that have happened there. They are currently under investigation by UCO and BNI. That is where we have led them, so that they investigate, and if they are found culpable, they have to be prosecuted. The second thing is that we just asked the board of directors to step aside. So last Saturday, we had kept Elmina to ensure that the whole board is dissolved.
Now to the international front, Apple, the biggest U.S. company by market value, will be included in the Dow Jones Industrial Average from 19th March. It replaces AT&T, which first joined the U.S. stock market barometer in 1916. Despite being one of the most successful U.S. firms, Apple has excluded from the Dow because its high stock price would have distorted the price-weighted index. But a change in the structure of Visa shares, which is in the same sector, has made room for the iPhone maker. And that'll be all for business. I'm Abigail Adomakwentri. Sports comes up shortly with Israel.
The first Capital Plus Premier League enters week 10 this weekend with 8 matches across all centres. Here is what to expect.
United will be on the hunt for redemption as they face life under new head coach Mohamed Gago and interim management team. They are rock bottom of the Premier League log, having won just 2 of their 9 games this season. The BS side is at home to a rather laid-back WA All-Stars who have won just 3 points this season. Ediana Stars follow Ash Gold in second place with a 6-point gap between them. Coincidentally, the 2 sides lock horns at the Ajimanbedu Park in Doma. Ediana will be on red alert for a win to bridge the point gap. Liberty professionals have been giving a boost as they face Bichim United at the Dumsor Corridor Park, receiving a donation of energy-boosting products from Evans Medical PLC of Nigeria. The scientific soccer lads will ride on the back of the recent run of results. Felix Abuache is assistant coach of Liberty professionals.
I think we have a good run of results. In the last 2 matches, we beat Brecum Chelsea, and we went to Mediama Takwa and we were able to get a point. I believe we're on the right course, despite the difficulties we are going through. But hopefully we can going to capitalize on those good results and make sure that our next game we try to improve upon it. But I think the boys are doing very well. We are playing some excellent football, and hopefully we'll do well on Sunday.
Yeah, you mentioned difficulties. Can you share some of them with us?
Yeah, you know, sometimes in a game we find it very difficult to score more goals. We create a lot of chances, and at the moment, 4 strikers are finding it very difficult to put the ball in the net. But we've worked on it, and hopefully it will appear on Sunday game, and hopefully they will start scoring.
Edubiasi FC has relegation staring them in the face, lying 14th on the league log. They take on Brecum Chelsea, who are buoyed on by their zeal to break into the top 4. That match will be honored in Bekwai. Hearts of Lions stand a chance to topple over Aduana Stars for the 2nd place on the table. The Kwando side are at home to Wafa, who have not lost in their last 5 consecutive matches, with their worst being a 1-1 draw away to Bichim United. Asante Kotoko is still without a substantive head coach and will be at home to Mediama SC. The Porcupine Warriors are just a place above the relegation zone and desperately need to find a win at their favourite Babayara Stadium. Hearts of Oak will travel to the Esipon Stadium to face Sekendi Hazakes, while the local derby between Great Olympics and Inter Allies at the Accra Sports Stadium wrap up the weekend's Premier League action.
And that'll be all for sports in this Dumsor news edition of Joy News Prime. In 2015, the 58th Independence Anniversary celebration has been marred with mixed reactions. Lord Harris Asare joined holidaymakers in town and asked, "Are you proud to be Ghanaian?"
Now, today marks 58 years since Ghana gained its independence, and I'm here at the Bola Beach, which is directly behind the Independence Square. Now, people are really having fun here and all, but this is my question. 58 years on, are we still proud to be Ghanaian? I'm going to talk to people and see what they are saying.
To be frank and honest with you, to me, Ghana shouldn't be, this is 58 years at all. Because whatever is happening in Ghana is like a tragedy to us. I can tell you today that I feel very, very, very sad to be a Ghanaian. Because look at us, we are coming to write to Wasi this April. And we are experiencing Dumsor. How do you expect me to learn? For me, I will be better being a Nigerian than being a Ghanaian.
I would say I'm not proud because we are experiencing a lot of Dumsor. That's what you see. Even, I don't know, I saw some buses coming to the country, I don't know. We haven't Dumsor in the country and we are bringing buses. To solve what?
I'm very, very, very proud to be a Ghanaian. Why? Definitely, because fully mean I'm a fully African. Ghana is a very peaceful country, and that is it. So many people from any other countries wish to be in Ghana. You know that. So I'm much proud to be a Ghanaian.
I'm so independence now, and due to the rapid development, though this government is not forcing, but during this presidential parade, I saw some special forces, and I know that our security is very strong. Yeah, and to the helicopter rappellers, they were so marvelous, and I'm so proud. Yeah,
I'm very proud.
Why is that?
Because there's peace and freedom, and everybody is moving smoothly, and we love our country, even though there are things going on. We still love our country.
Because how things are going on is very unfortunate. Yeah. Because I remember our elders, the way they do things before they are gone is different from nowadays. So I'm not proud what is going on at all.
Sure. But then the economy very bad. Hey, serious so. Hey, Dumsor, no money. Township is hard. Now, if you have a boyfriend, he doesn't take good care of you.
If you don't work, you eat. Hey, serious. 3 days, every day, power bank. See my purse. No, ne. Power bank.
We don't get combo for that. I'm proud to be a Ghanaian, but I'm not proud to be under the governance of Mahama.
Why is that?
That's because the economy is not going on well. With this Dumsor and all that, you see, it's like we are bored. We don't feel like living in Ghana again.
Despite the numerous celebrations happening here, we are still having varying reactions, with some people saying they are proud, others not so proud.
Right, that's it for the bulletin. Before we go to a quick round to our top stories, President Mahama has directed the National Commission for Civic Education to liaise with the Peace Council for amicable resolution of the religious intolerance standoff in his address to mark Ghana's 58th independence anniversary. We brought you his comments and all the highlights of the parade, including the contingents who could not stand their ground all through to the end, and what the political bigwigs had to say about what the president said. Commissioner of Police Patrick Timbela on interdiction for his role in police recruitment scam, the highest ranking officer to be indicted in the scandal after 2 cops were arrested on Thursday. The minority spokesperson on foreign affairs is demanding immediate action against heads of Ghana's diplomatic missions alleged to have embezzled funds. And 4 Upper East and Upper West districts have joined forces to halt decline in socio-economic activities in the area due to the lack of a bridge to connect their communities over the Sicily River. Right, so that's it for this Dumsor special edition in solidarity with those of our viewers who are unable to watch this particular bulletin, all because of Dumsor. Good night.
This is Joy